Oh, I was too busy looking at my phone to realise they had started. We're ready to go here. We're ready to go. Oh, and it's cloudy. Anyway, I need to introduce the stream. Let me start again. Konnichiwa, and welcome everyone to Japan GRS F1 for round number 7 of 12. We're getting to the business end of the season. We're past the halfway point. We've got championship battles going on between certain people that we'll get to in a minute. We have Japan, which is a very difficult track to overtake. Lots of dirty air. But hopefully we will have as good a race as last time out, which was very, very hard. It was very, very hard to top that race. Goodness me, that's very loud. That's very loud. It sounds like a V12. What's going on? Goodness me. Is that loud? When is the draw? This is the all-important business of the day, of course. The Carabao Cup draw is in about 20 minutes, I think. 25 minutes? Something like that. Rumour has it. I might be wrong, but that's what I read. And I'll be reacting, of course, because we need to see who AFC Wimbledon are going to play. Of course, give us West Ham, give us Crystal Palace, give us some London away day. That would be great, so I can actually go. Yeah, anyway, let me talk about the standings, do all the usual rubbish. So, Luke Mills leads by 4 points from Paco, who's had a couple of... Well, he wasn't here last week, so he wasn't here. So he didn't get any points, of course. Quill's gone up to 3rd. What a legend. The Yapper himself. Then we have Yerne. Actually, no, I should go back. Quill. He has Aura, apparently, I said on last week's stream. And he said he was going to clip it and send it in as evidence of whenever he does anything well. A clip of me saying he has Aura. So we'll see if that happens. Yerne's in P4. Then we have Oscar McCracken in 5th. And I'm not going to read the rest because it's boring. Constructors, Mercedes are doing well. Aston Martin are last. That is all you need to know. So back to the on-track action, and we're going to watch a full lap with absolutely no UI. On board with your championship leader, Luke Mills, to see how Japan is done. Here we go. Look at that, using a bit of curve. On the soft tyres, of course, as you would be unless you're a maniac like myself. Look at the cherry blossom trees in the background on the left-hand side. But yeah, through the S's section, this looks very nice and tidy. I have no idea what the sector split is. Can we see on his steering wheel? No, it doesn't tell you, does it? 31.9. That's pretty slow, mate. That is pretty slow. Anyway, through the two Degners and up towards the hairpin, of course. I think this hairpin has a name, but I don't know what it is, so we're going to call it the hairpin. Ooh, a bit of slide. Bit of wheel spin on the exit. Using a bit of grass as well for his front right tyre. Trying to cut the shortest possible run up towards Spoon Curve. A corner that is very challenging to overtake cars, as I found out yesterday. On 2 separate occasions, crashing into other drivers. So that's good. Anyway, now down towards 130. You can lose a lot of straight line speed here if you don't have any... If you have a too low ride height. Another thing I found out yesterday. And into the Casio Triangle, which I think this is the Casio Triangle. Nicely over both curbs. That car looks pretty stable for ride height and suspension and all that. Up to the line. The opening time is a 27.2. And I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go. There we go. 27.2. Tyler has backed out of it because he was supposed to be next across the line. Let's have a look at Yerne, who's coming through 130R now. Let's see what he can do again, using all of the curb, really running it close to track limits. But that is not close, that is perfection there from the McLaren driver. In that chrome McLaren, he does a 26.7, that's half a second clear at the moment. That is absolutely rapid, but it's beaten by Paco, who's done a 26.4. Core, these times are very fast, very, very fast. Is Timo doing race prep? Yes, he is. Where's Quill going to be? Your P3 man in the championship, passing an Aston Martin on the left-hand side. At the moment, doesn't look as confident through the Casio Triangle, and that shows on the exit with a big snap of oversteer. Taking the shortest run to the line as usual. It's only a 28.2. That's slower than me. That is slower than me. Goodness me. Who's next across the line? Anyone coming across the line? Yes, the Haas of Domin. These those P8 at the moment. We have another McLaren of Alyosha coming through Spoon. I want to watch a full lap on board with somebody at some point. In fact, let me get the draw on my phone just so I don't miss it. We would not want to miss the draw. I hope this is your method of choice for watching the draw. I'm sorry. Oh, somebody was in the grapple there. Anyway, to the line of Alyosha, just behind his teammate with a 26.8, but nowhere near as fast as Paco, who's 4 tenths ahead at the front here. Let's go on board with Villiers for the rest of his lap. See what he can do. He's having a very a good season, but like quietly getting on with it, doing the George Russell. Where is the draw? I believe it's in Birmingham. I believe. Because they are playing Sheffield United today. Forget the Super Cup. It's all about Birmingham and Sheffield United. That's what we care about here. Anyway, how's Villiers going to attack Spoon Curve? He's got plenty of battery still left on this lap. Through in 6th gear. And then down to 4th for the second part. Has to wait on throttle as the understeer kicks in. Now, what's it going to be through 130R here? Lots of skidding along the ground, it sounds like. Will that affect his lap time or straight line speed? We'll find out. Again, doesn't look very confident going into the Casio Triangle and does invalidate as a result of that in the second part. That is not ideal for Villiers at the moment. Nathan Powers looks like he's going to start another lap or pull into the box. And he pulls into the box, taking out the board in the process. Timo is not on a lap. Quill is cutting some grass. That's nice. Arjan has gone P5 while we were watching some other people. And also new debut driver today in Camil Randinho. His name's not Camil Randinho, it's Camil P something with a lot of foreign letters with accents that I don't understand. So I'm not going to try and pronounce that name. But yeah, he races in ERF2 quite a lot. And is very, very quick in that tier. They all want him to be moved up. So he's been thrown straight into GRS F1 for his debut race here. I don't know if he's driven in previous seasons, but he's not driven in this season, so he's quickly been signed by Red Bull. And oh, I've missed the driver crossing the line. Oh well. And he's currently popped it P8 at the moment with a 27.3. The draw we're all talking about is the Carabao Cup draw, of course. English football, everybody. Second round. The Premier League teams are in, apart from the ones in Europe. But we don't care about the elite. We care about the average. That's what it's all about. The average. Football is way more fun when you focus on the average and the rubbish. Anyway, Quill, are you going to do a lap for me? Looks like he is. I don't know if he's been on these tyres a lot. Are these fresh tyres? No, they're old tyres, so this could be a difficult lap for Quill, but let's go on board and see what he can produce here into turn 1. Flat out for quite a long way of that. And then down to 4th gear, picking up the throttle as early as possible, using some overtake as well to take him into the start of the S's section. Down to 5th gear here. Change of direction, looking a bit shaky. It's the back end trying to step out on a couple of occasions, but overall he made it through and is through into Dunlop. With more ERS to be deployed towards the end of the sector. And he's 2 tenths up on his previous best, but he's overcooked that Degner one and invalidated his time. He will be back into the pit lane very, very shortly. To put on a new set of boots and to try again. His teammate is also starting a lap, so let's go see if he can do any better through the first sector. Down into 4th gear again. Using a lot more curve than Quill did. There's a Ferrari that hopefully gets out of his way and sort of does. Does as well as he can at that part of the track. Really revving the engine in 4th gear through this section and into Dunlop. Getting on the curve, that can unsettle the car if you're not careful. Chooses not to use overtake here, so this might be a slower first sector than Quill's. It's actually the same, a 31.7. Into the 2 Degners, no invalidation. Yeah, using a bit of curb with his left tyre on the exit. That curb is raised, so if you go over it, you will straddle the car. And that will be an end to your lap. Nicely hooked up through the hairpin. Bit of a lock up, but that got the car slowed down very nicely. There's a Mercedes ahead of him that may have to get out of the way. I think that is Paco, who does get out of the way into Spoon. Is this an in-lap? Am I No, it can't be an in-lap. He's got loads of battery. He's got a flashing light. You better not be pulling into the pits after this lap. What's the middle sector saying? It's 5 tenths up. He's not going to be pulling into the pits. This is going to challenge the top 5. the likes of Oscar and Iron. Into the Casio triangle we go. Hooked up the first apex nicely. The second one could have cut a bit more if he was feeling greedy, but still has plenty of battery to use to the line. It's a 27.2. It puts in P7, just ahead of championship leader Luke Mills at the moment, who's now on his own lap. Let's follow this one as he plunges into camera shot and then downhill to then go uphill again through Dunlop. Short burst of overtake. And into the Degners, throws it in 7th gear, flat out. Bit of a lock up into the second part as it's slightly downhill. Then we go a bit uphill again. Lots of undulation and hills in this track. The only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar as well, in real life and in the GRS Season 11 calendar. How's Spoon Curve going to be? 6th gear chosen for this one, using curbs on both the left, the inside and the outside of the corner. Let's have a look at some off-board shots through 130R here. How much speed is he going to carry? Completely flat out and in overtakes. Not even a corner really, in dry conditions at least. And bouncing over the curbs. This is going to be an improvement for Luke. It is a 26.7, half a second improvement. Very good improvement there from Luke Mills as Randinho goes P8 behind him. Paco though is on a lap and another improvement lap to extend his advantage out front. Can he hook up the final 2 corners? Certainly can. And up to the line he goes. Is this going to be a 26.2? No, he actually lost time. He didn't hook it up as nicely as it looked. That is a shame for him. Must have had a really good sector 3 on the previous attempt. Nathan's just finished a lap, 28.2, and oh, there's no front wing on that Mercedes. Timo Games. Your provisional winner from last time, but obviously got a post-race penalty, which meant that Quill inherited the win. And while I was yapping, Mitch must have been there for a long time and I didn't notice, as there's a car off in Sector 1. It's Oscar McCracken. He's hit the barrier. You can see it's the front wing there, just before Dunlop. I'm trying to get an idea of how much damage he's actually done to his front wing here. Whoa. That main plane on the right hand side is completely gone. And he's off again, because he forgot he had damage. I'd love to know how long's left, game. Are you going to tell me there's a yellow flag like all the time? Or what? Who's on a lap? Phileas has popped himself into P7 while we were watching that, as there's another yellow flag for Nathan deciding to basically stop on track and let people through. Who is he letting through? Cohen's gone P6. Game, how long is left in the session? I need to know. I need to know. 5 minutes till the draw, yes. Currently, we'll just see Clinton Morrison sat on a sofa with 2 other people who I don't really know. Let's have a look at Yerno then. Championship contender, currently P4 in the title race, but he's closing the gap to the front very, very quickly with the current results that Paco's had, and obviously that last race being a bit crazy. What can he do here to put himself on the front row? It all looks very smooth and calm, no adjustments on the steering wheel, not even too much understeer there, just really controlled. And it is a 31.4. First sector, purple, fastest of anybody. That is very competitive. Up into the hairpin, flicking the wheel in, hitting the apex very, very nicely and using all the curb he was allowed. Now into overtake. No one's using hot lap mode, which is interesting, because I was yesterday. Even though I think it's rubbish, I still used it. But you know, I did qualify last, so what can we say? More overtake to be deployed towards 130R. 3 temps up. This is going to be close, challenging Paco's pole position time here. Let's have a look at the off-board shot. Into the Casio triangle. Car flicks into view with the close-up shot. Kept it all nice and clean. Up to the line. What's it going to be? It is fastest at 26.2. He improves his final sector by 2 tenths, and that is enough to send him 2 tenths clear at the top. As we flick to Quill, running wide at Degner 1, he's going to have to go again. But yeah, fastest lap for Yerne. That could be, well, could that be beaten? He's got a decent margin, but obviously Paco's look very quick as well. It looks like it's going to be a battle between those two, maybe. Unless someone can pull out a big improvement out the bag. Luke Mills, Alyosha, maybe Mitcher, who's done a very decent opening attempt. We will see what will Timo do on his one and only quali run that he likes to do in these sessions. Anyway, everyone's on outlaps now, so let's see what the order is. It looks like Luke is going to be first across the line, followed by your debutant Camille or Randinho. Alyosha lining himself next up. It looks like Yerne might go for another one. Is he going for another one now? No, he's not. I think he's pulling into the pit lane. Yerne is finished for this session. He's had enough. Then it will be Cohen. Then Mitcher. Just trying to remember for myself. Then Matthew Bailey. And then the other Haas of Domen. Alright. So we will watch Luke Mills' lap as he tries to beat... Where's Paco, actually? Paco is after Nathan Powers. Cool. Let's go then. The final runs of qualifying here. As Yerne's retired in the pit lane, he has set the benchmark. Can anyone beat it? Luke Mills will be first to make an attempt as he barrels into turn number 1 and 2. The 180-degree sort of big hairpin, if you want to call it that. Flying through sector 1 over the curbs, not really unsettling the car too much here. This is looking pretty steady for Luke so far. And he's completed what, in my opinion, is the hardest part of the lap. So, maybe that's not true. Marginally up with a 31.4, but still a few hundredths down on what Yerne did in that first sector. Into the hairpin. What's it going to be? Not too bad, a little bit wide, a little bit of wheel spin we heard. The floor scuffing the ground as he heads into spoon curve. Double downshift into 4th and got plenty of battery to burn. Get early on the power as soon as possible and run uphill towards 130R. The checkered flag is out. This is it then. It's a purple sector 2. He's a tenth and a half up. He needs a big final sector though, because he needs another 3 or 4 tenths to challenge pole position. But right now he could be getting himself onto the front row. That's a bit shaky into the first part of the Casio triangle. But the second part looked okay. A little wobble on the exit. This might have cost him even an improvement here, and he does cross the line. He does improve to go P4, but it's not enough right now to put himself on the front row. 8th place for Randinho as Alyosha now comes up to the line, and he goes second fastest for a McLaren 1-2. Cohen is into the pit lane. What about Mitcher in the other Haas? He can't improve. Matthew Bailey goes P9. And now I'm running out of runners. Domen Vress is going to improve to P11. Nathan Powers will be next to cross the line. He's 7 tenths up. This is a big improvement for him, but could only thrust him P13. What about Paco then? He has not improved. He's had a shake. He's had a wobble out the final corner because he was a tenth and a half up after 2 sectors. Oscar's into the pits. It looks like Villiers is one of the only few still doing a lap. Arjan is doing one himself. He goes P6, followed by a Ferrari of Tyler, who improves to P13. Quill is going to cross the line to go 4 tenths faster. 5 tenths faster, can only manage a 15.6. What will Villiers do from P8 to P8? Can't improve his time. And Timo Games, with his 1 lap of the session, crosses the line in last and goes P13. There you go. That was a lot of words. And that is your grid. Disappointing for Timo at the end to only get P13. But it's a McLaren 1-2 yet again. Very boring stuff out in front. Paco P3, Mitcher in 4th, Luke, Arjan 5th, then Cohen Hodges in 7th, Villiers in 8th, Camel on debut in 9th, just ahead of Matthew Bailey in 10th, Oscar McCracken, disappointing by his standards, down in 11th, Dom and Vrest 12th, Timo 13th, Tyler 14th, Nathan and Quill rounding off the grid in 15th and 16th. There's your race director, not that it matters. In qualifying, as Quill says, he's never done a worse practice session in his life. But more importantly, the draw's just begun. We got Fulham out of the hat first. It's the southern section first. This is what we want to see. Fulham away? I would love it. Give it to me. Give it to me. Bristol City. That's dead boring, that is. That's dead boring. Don't really care about that for me. I don't even know what ball number we are. I don't know what to look for. Norwich. I don't really want to go to Norwich. What can we see in the pit lane as well? Anything interesting? I don't know. 17. If it's alphabetical order, surely we're ball number 1. Oh no, Southampton are taken. I wanted to play Southampton. Timo has blisters. That's why he's... Do not give us Oxford. This is what the first... I'll commentate on the first lap. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Number 4, Brighton. Oh, Brighton are gone as well. Oh, dear. 16, Reading. Do not give us Reading. We're playing Reading on Saturday. I do not want Reading. 2. Oh! Oh, it's so boring. Oh, we don't need to watch the rest of the draw. Right, here we go then. 4 red lights, 5 red lights. And they're gone. And they are racing in Suzuka. It's a McLaren 1-2 off the line, and it stays that way as Paco into P3 is trying to move maybe around the outside, but he's not going to be able to make that work, I don't think, as cars are sort of keeping it fairly clean. Cohen making up a position in the Aston Martin. They're 3 wide in the background with Villiers, and this could be a bit scrappy down the back of the field. There's a red ball being spun round. It's Arjan. He's tagged Cohen in turn 3 there, and lost a bunch of positions, unfortunately. Oh, there's another tagger. It's it's all going wrong. Timo's been spun round. I didn't know by who. I think Oscar McCracken's involved. I don't know if he's got front wing damage. He's losing places. Arjan as well. Timo will not be happy with that. Let's go back to the front, see if anything's going on. But of course, there isn't anything going on at the front. There never is. It's down the back you have to look at for moves. Here we go. Here we go. Should we have a look at the draw? What else is going on? Swansea are out of the hat on my screen. Plymouth. That's, I don't know. I don't think Plymouth will like that. That's pretty boring for Plymouth. That's pretty boring. It's close for Plymouth, though, as Nathan Powers has had a little moment into Spoon Corner. Curve? Spoon Curve? Spoon Corner? Don't know. Yeah, so he's lost some time and a few positions. So anyway, lap 1 is nearing the end, and we have the top 10 all in the DRS train, and then some skirmishes down the back as Yone sets the fastest lap, obviously, because it's the first lap. So, positions gained. Tyler, of course, capitalising on some chaos and making his way up to P10, gaining 4 positions. Matthew Bailey up 3 himself. Down 7, though. Arjan, of course, with that spin. And Timo obviously spun as well, but he started down at the back anyway. Who did West Ham get? I don't know. Let's have a look at the tyres. Everybody on the medium tyres. That's surprising because we saw a bit of a mix in strategy yesterday with some drivers on the hards. So interesting to see that it's just medium tyres for everybody in the top 10. As we see Cohen and Matthew Bailey going side by side. Looks like Matt's already got that position before the hairpin here. Bournemouth beat Brentford. Why couldn't we have got Brentford as the next one out? That is so boring. Do I really have to go to Reading twice? Although, I could go straight. Ooh. Maybe I will. Maybe you'll see me in Reading. Anyway, back to what really matters right now is this race and this championship. Looks like Cohen fancies a move back on Matt, who's lost DRS to the cars ahead. So it's a top 5 train, followed by the next 5, followed by basically the next 5 here as Paco sets the fastest lap. And he's within 3/10 actually of the McLarens. Maybe he will be the one to make a charge towards the lead contenders here. We will see as Arjan overtakes Quill Simple DRS move for him into turn 1. Almost runs a bit wide, but easy pass. Nicely done in the opening stages of this lap. Yes, telemetry is very important, thank you. I was distracted by the draw. I'm so sorry. Anyway, we'll move on to... I'm going to turn off the draw now, because I do not care. We got Reading, that's all I care about. Alyosha is under pressure from Paco here. I do wonder if they're going to be boring and stick behind each other. Play some DRS games. Is Alyosha going to work with his teammate for this one? Who knows? Who knows? And here he goes, actually. He's going to make a move now. I said he was going to be boring. He isn't. He's not really left the room there. He might have got a warning for going up the inside and cutting the inside of the Casio triangle. As Cohen's made a mistake, he's round at the Casio triangle. And that's 2 Aston Martins having spins in the opening laps. And the team bottom of the constructors is going from bad to worse here. And that pains me to say, as the longest serving Aston Martin driver at the moment. But, you know, I'm slow as well, so it's fine. Let's see this battle for the lead. I think Paco is going to be on a charge here, trying to overtake both McLarens. Let's see. Harvesting the ERS through Sector 1. He has used a bit more than the McLarens so far. So I wonder if that will continue. What is Luke thinking in 4th as Paco goes wide and off the track and into the wall? That's big for the championship. Paco is slid off. He's straddled the curb, as I mentioned you could do in qualifying. And he's gone and put it into the wall. He's lost his whole front wing. The whole thing is gone. And I've absolutely screamed down the microphone that it's gone red. Big mistake from Paco early on in this race. Just as I was teeing him up, saying he's going to be the one to make moves. He's going to be the one to challenge the McLarens. He goes and puts it in a wall. And now has to trundle back to the pit lane. Repair that front wing. It's all gone wrong, and the championship is wide open again. Luke said a few races ago, there's no way we'll beat Paco, but he's had some terrible races. Unfortunately, some out of his control. Tyre puncture, not turning up last week, but this one looks like he's just run wide in Degner, and ultimately that's cost him a lot of time. So then now, the 5-car train at the front is a 4-car train. Who will be the one to make progress, make moves, and get us on the edge of our seats here? Unless anyone's standing and watching the live stream. I doubt that would be happening. What I think's more likely is Yerne to pull away. He's on that 9/10 bubble at the moment. Alyosha does have plenty of battery to burn to maintain that DRS. Is he going to be able to? Where's the detection point? It's just after 130R, so he's got some time to deploy the battery to maintain that DRS. Is so crucial around this track. If you lose DRS, you fall down the field because the dirty air is still in effect, but you're not being pulled forward on the straights. By opening that flap in the rear wing, look at them all filter through 130R. Bit of curb cam for you on the inside of the corner. As we start lap 6 of 27 here, it is teetering on 1 second out in front between the two McLarens. Luke Mills sitting pretty happy in 3rd, and Mitchell in 4th. Let's have a look further down the field. Timo Games is thinking about a move on Cohen here, but he's used a lot of battery to get this to this point. Only 15% left. Is he going to have enough to have the overspeed into turn 1? Not on this occasion when he thinks about it. He sent a little dummy move, but he wasn't quite close enough to send one down the inside. Not enough of a braking zone there to really show off your braking performance. Who is showing off, though, is Yerne, because he's 1.2 seconds clear now. He's broken that DRS and sent Alyosha into the hands of Luke Mills, trying to get into P2. He's seen his championship rival go off the road in front of him, and now he's got an excellent chance to gain points, and getting up into that podium spot, that higher podium spot of P2 will be very helpful for him here. Only 2/10 now at the gap as we go into the Casio Triangle. They've both got a very similar amount of ERS, just that 60%. Is it going to be enough for Luke to make a pass and maybe cement himself on the podium properly? Into P2, he's gaining, but I don't think he's gaining enough on this occasion to make a move, and he does not have enough speed to go side by side into this corner. Instead, he will have to wait, and maybe Mitchell will watch on behind him, thinking, I'll have a go next time. You know. And as we see an overtake down into turn 1 from Paco. Nice and easy. These guys have boxed already. They might try and go to the end. We have seen it done in yesterday's race from Jarvis Coyd, going, I think, 25 laps on a set of hards. He did have to severely tyre manage towards the end to keep them alive, however. But it is possible, and maybe that's Paco's only hope of securing some points here today, apart from a late safety car. We'll see. Long way to go. 20 laps still to go. And I'm slightly concerned that this race is not going to live up to the expectations of the last one. But we'll see, we'll stick with it. As I say that, somebody's round, it's an Aston Martin. He's had a small spin out of the hairpin. I want to see these guys fight. I want to see Alyosha and Luke go side by side into turn 1. I think they can do it. Although right now there's actually more fighting going on and I'm missing it. Oscar McCracken into turn 1. Around the outside of one of the Hasses. He's got some front wing damage on that left end plate. That's been missing since lap 1. But despite that, he's found his way back into the points and into P8 at the moment, as Paco sets the fastest lap. So he's clearly pushing hard on those new hard tyres. So let's talk about strategy a little bit, because I'm running out of things to say about the action on track, because there isn't a lot of action on track at the moment. So strategy here is a very easy one-stop, I've been told. Want to be pitting off the mediums, you know, anytime really, lap 10, lap 12, maybe we'll see people in. Maybe even later, if you fancy an overcut. I don't think an overcut's very good, but what do I know? It's actually Randinho is very close. I think Luke might have a go here. He's not put it into overtake though, so he's going to wait for the next lap around. But surely he's going to have a go at some point, or into the pit swap. Someone who is going to have a go is the Red Bull of Camel, who's already through into the very little braking zone at turn 1 on Matthew Bailey. He's past the Alpine and up into P5 on debut. Very good start for him, as Quill in the other Alpine is making a move on Domen into turn 1. So some moves happening throughout the field. Synchronized moves, really. Same thing into turn 1, the main overtaking spot on this circuit. Is Luke going to use any of that 100% battery he's got stored up to try and overtake his rival? He's going to burn it a bit now, but no, he's still saving it. He's still saving it as Quill has had a little spin himself. He's done what Paco did and gone wide at Degna 2 into the wall. He has not lost as much front wing as the Mercedes driver did. But that is not a good start or to the day for Quill. I say start to the day, it's the middle of the day, really. Surely now Luke's going to make a move. He's all over the back of Alyosha. He's going to go for it into the Casio triangle. He's already guaranteed himself DRS for the run into turn 1. So if he could have made a move there, it would have been very beneficial to maintain that position. But instead, he's going to wait and he's going to do it now. Overtake engaged, DRS engaged as we cross the line. Getting into the slipstream. Is Alyosha going to defend to the inside? No, not enough. Luke dives down the inside and is up into P2. He'd choreographed that move for a few laps, and it's not worked. He's been spun into the wall. He's had a little wobble, and Alyosha has tagged him. And he's gone off onto the right-hand side, and he's going to lose loads of positions. Just as I said this race was getting boring, it's livened up. 2 championship contenders are out of it now, and this opens the door for Yerne, P4 in the championship, currently leading by 4 seconds, to surely go on and extend that lead. Oh, not extend that lead, close the gap at the top of the championship. As Cohen has decided to retire in the pit lane. Looks like Quill might do the same as he's boxed onto hards. No, he has boxed onto hards. As Timo Games is looking for a move around the outside of the other Ferrari of Tyler. I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, that's such a shame for Luke. The move was done, it looked like. And then, I don't really know what happened. He had a little bit of an oversteer. Alyosha got caught out by that and just ended up tagging him in a way that spun him round into the inside. I wonder if Alyosha will get a penalty for that. It will definitely be reported, unless Luke thinks it was his fault, but I'm not sure how that could have been his fault, as Timo has made a move on Tyler into the hairpin. Wonder if Tyler's going to go for an overtake into Spoon. Doesn't look like it. Going to be smart and wait for turn 1, maybe to try and get past his rival again. He's on 5 lap older hard tyres than the Mercedes driver. Oh, that's actually... Oh, Luke's into the box. Confused. That's what I want to see. Goodness me. I can't tell the colour of an Alpine from a Williams on the mini-map. Dearly me. Anyway, the pitters. As Oscar changed his front wing, Luke certainly has changed his front wing. As we see Timo and Tyler still doing battle into turn 1. But yes, new front wings for both drivers here. So Luke pops himself out in P12, 1.8 seconds behind his teammate. As Nathan Powers has had another incident at the final corner in the Aston Martin. Not a good day for them. So will we see? We still haven't seen anyone do a regular green flag stop, I don't think, although Timo has. And what I mean, like, without changing the front wing, you know. We've only seen people in because of incidents so far. But Paco has undercut his way up to 9th, but he will be struggling big time at the end of the race if he tries to hold it on that one set of tyres. Big slide for Mitchell as he he takes the lead because the championship leader, I don't know what I'm saying. The race leader is into the pits. Yerne is into the pits. Where's he going to come out is the question. Also into the pits are Camel and Villiers, who's actually, what's he done there? I think he's spun going into the pit lane, locking up, trying to avoid. I've just seen some soft tyres. Why are we on soft? Did he mean to go on soft? Is this a mistake from Yerne? Is it going to matter? The guy's quick enough anyway to pull out a pit stop gap from the cars ahead. That's confused me, that soft tyre shout. Everybody else going for the hard tyres. But Yerne is put on softs, whether deliberately or not. The McLaren team have said, no, you're going on the soft tyres, mate. And now he's all over the back of Arjan. Because of that huge tyre advantage, just look at the traction and grip through Degner 2 to sail past into the hairpin, nice and easy. And these are going to be some quality laps for Yerne, probably. Because there's no way he's making these to the end. Unless he is. No, there's no way he's making these to the end. So your top 2 then at the moment is Mitchell and Alyosha. Surely these guys are going to respond and box. on this lap for the hard tyres and go to the end. Let's have a look what Mitchell does. Pulls into the pit lane, and so does Alyosha. What about Matthew Bailey in P3? And then Arjan will be the last one to make a pit stop. Matt is in. And Arjan coming through the Casio triangle now is going to pull into the box. Everyone doing a very normal strategy apart from Yerne, who's going to retake the lead. But of course he's on those soft tyres. Intentional or not, I don't know. As the other contenders feed out of the pit lane now. Mitchell up into P2, capitalising on other people's mistakes. Paco has made his way up to P6 after that early pit stop. And his teammate, Timo Games, has made up a place as well, up into 8th after undercutting the field a little bit himself. So then Yerne is 8 seconds clear out in front at the moment, and surely will be gapping a considerable amount. Yeah, that's really confused me, that soft tyre run. It has to be a mistake for me, because yeah, it's an easy one stop onto hard, so I don't really get it. Last week was a snooze fest in F4, I've heard, because somebody won by 40 seconds. Last week in F1 was probably the best F1 race there's been in a long time. And this week, it's been a slow burner, but there's been some high-profile incidents, I gotta say. As we see Arjan and Tyler going side by side, and Arjan's through into Spoon. He's through. He's had the overspeed. He's got fully ahead of the car in front as Tyler gets a big swapper on and is onto the curb. Going to be under pressure now from Oscar McCracken in the Racing Bull. 5 laps of wet racing was in F4 today, apparently. That sounds like a lot of fun. I would have loved that yesterday, as Oscar McCracken is going to go for it around the outside here, but he's not going to have the braking performance to outbrake that Red Bull, that McLaren, no, that Ferrari. I'm worse than Crofty today. What's going on? Anyway, into the slipstream in DRS. I don't think he's got the battery to overtake his rival, and it looks like Tyler is more likely to get past Arjan again. He's going to go to the outside and swoop round the outside. They're side by side, and they're going to carry this on into turn 2. Tyler doesn't quite have the grip to go around the Red Bull driver. On board with front wing cam here into the S's, and now the dirty air starts to take effect, and the Red Bull holds on to that position. Arjan in P10. Oscar through Dunlop will think about his next opportunities to overtake the Ferrari. And here it is, because he's done the same thing. Tyler has done the same thing as Paco. He's done the same thing as Quill, and he's into the barrier. He's spun it round. He's off the track. He's into the gravel, and he's going to have to drive back on. No resetting his track here. That's 3 drivers now making that same mistake at Degner 2. It's really catching drivers out today. And now he drifts through the corner after losing or gaining so much rear tyre temp. There's another yellow flag because he's out. He's actually crashed on the left-hand side here, and there's a safety car has been deployed. Yes, he's put it into a barrier on the left-hand side just before Spoon. I mean, I wish I'd stayed on board with him there to see how he did that. I'm assuming his rears were just so hot that he lost it on that slight kink there. We'll see what he says in F1 Discord chat. But the safety car has been deployed here. That is really going to help Yerne correct this strategy mistake. Get on the maybe the medium tyres and go to the end from here. Will we see anyone else box for medium tyres? We already have, actually, in the form of Villiers. Luke has made a new pit stop as well. He's gone on to a fresh set of hards, obviously picking the harder tyre allocation. We've also seen Paco and Camel into the box. So this is a blessing for those that have had incidents earlier on in the race. This has closed the field up. Your Pacos, your Luke, Mills, Quill, Pavlikovic, I think it is pronounced. I like Pavlakovic better, but Pavlikovic, I think is how you say it. Yeah, so these guys down in 10th and below are going to be very happy. Oscar McCracken's up to P7, but he will be quite happy with this. Timo is again doing a wonderful example of how to race last to first. Another disappointing qualifying for him, but again, making up places in the race, staying out of trouble. Although he did get spun round on the opening lap, actually. Doing the undercut and making up to P5. Look at that. So Yerne is into the box to correct the soft tyre mistake. And now he will put the hard tyres on to go to the end. That's a visual glitch. Nice. As the car teleports to the end of the pit lane. And when are we going to switch to the car? There we go. Marshall's flying the yellow flags out here. As we also see Matthew Bailey pull into the box. And where is he going to feed out? He's going to feed out just behind the Haas of Domen. Into P8, so not a bad decision there to box refresh set hards. Only losing, I think, 3 or 4 positions. And now has fresher tyres than everybody in front of him apart from Yerne in P3. Watch Nathan Powers do some drifting. Or not drifting, tyre warming down the back here. So he will be the one to catch up to the safety car to cause it to go into the pits. Should be on the next lap. I think we'll go racing for a good 10 laps of racing here. With some different tyre lives in play. Which should be quite interesting. The one to watch for me is, of course, Yerne from P3 trying to take the lead. If he wants to win, he has to overtake 2 drivers, so that's going to be entertaining. Another one to watch for me is Villiers on the fresh medium tyres he's gone for. Clearly picked the balanced allocation. This will be, I think, the better tyre for the first 5 or 6 laps. So maybe he can make some early moves into that top 10. And then, of course, Luke Mills and Paco all out of position for their relative pace around him. So these 3 drivers could really be on a charge. Oh, I think it's going to get spicy now. I think it's going to get spicy. We've had the dull part of the race. We've had some high-profile incidents, some spins, some crashes. And now I think we're going to get all-action racing to the finish. 10 laps to go when we cross the line. The safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And we will see who's got the balls to go on and win this one. It could be Mitchell, who's now inherited the lead after not making a single overtake in this race. I think he has inherited P1 from other people's mistakes or strategy errors. Alyosha's up in P2 still. The McLaren's doing well as they have been all season in all the tiers. Yerne in 3rd after that strategy blunder, accidentally going onto the softs. Timo in 4th. Again, fantastic recovery drive from a poor qualifying. Ian in 5th, steadily going on with his business. Oscar McCracken up to 6th after again having an incident early on in the race, getting some front wing damage. Is the safety car in this lap? I didn't see a message pop up on the screen, but I'm assuming it is. No, yes it is. The safety car is in this lap, everybody, and we are ready to go. No, it's not. It's still out on track. Okay. Why were they making a gap to the safety car then? What are we doing here? What's going on? As Timo's actually pulled into the pit lane. He doesn't think he's going to make it to the end. And he's going to sacrifice the track position of P5. Go on a fresh mediums and try and overtake everybody. Nathan Powers is also in for a fresh set of tyres. Mediums going on the car as well. So the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And we'll have 9 laps of racing. So for now, we have to sit behind the safety car and watch some cars drive around. How many viewers F4 got? Let's have a look at F4. I haven't tuned into F4 yet. 10 viewers for F4 today, but way more chatters. What's going on? Actually, I think both of them are actually racing in that. It's Barton Outing, my former teammate, is winning the F4 race. What a goat. Ahead of Corey McSweeney, Laurie. I make excuses, whoever that is. He's in an Aston Martin, I don't even know who he is. Oh, is it Zan? That might be Zan. Who else have we got? Peachy. Charlie Roberts is in the points. Jack Cocaine is in the points because everyone's in the points. Because there's only 12 people driving. But more importantly, they only have 10 viewers. And we have... Oh, we also have 10 viewers. Oh no. Anyway, the safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap. So let's go on board with Yerne in the McLaren to see when the leaders are gonna go. When is Mitchell going to pull the trigger? And Bolt, he's gone now, out the final corner. He's had a little bit of a wobble as the tyres are not going to be up to temperature just yet. And Yerne is going to be the one on a charge. Both McLarens on a charge. In fact, Yerne is going to be going side by side with his teammate already into turn 1 and has already made up a place. Nice and easy. No fighting there between the two McLaren boys. The two teammates working well together as we see everyone else pretty much single file as they were out the final corner here. Who's going to be the one to make a mistake or make a position unexpectedly? It looks like Luke Mills is going side by side with Quill. He certainly is. No, it's actually Villiers. And Luke's made that place despite having potentially the worst tyres. As you see Matthew Bailey losing a couple places on the mini-map. He is now under pressure from Luke and potentially pushing him off into the grass there. Touching wheels, touching side pods, wheel banging a lot here, and that was very, very close to another straddling of the Dagner curve there, as now Luke dives around the outside. And is he going to have the traction to pull this one off? It doesn't look likely as Matt holds on. He doesn't quite close the door here though. Luke getting a better run in towards Spoon Curve. Are they going to be side by side for the rest of this? No, Luke's already ahead as we head into Spoon Curve, as we said, and up into P9. As I said, the driver's out of position for their pace, making moves late on in this race. And he will hope to recover as many championship points as possible to keep with a shot of winning the title in 5 weeks' time. At the end of the race, speaking of championship contenders, Paco has made up a place on the debut driver Camille in the Casio Triangle. We're seeing some different overtaking spots here now. And speaking of overtaking, is this going to be a move for the lead so early on? A late defence from Mitchell, but it wasn't enough. A great aggressive move from Yerne up the inside. Reacted to that late defence from Mitchell and still went to the inside anyway. And is just going to have supreme pace now, is the McLaren driver, to pull away. Look at this already, 4/10. Is he going to be able to gap him by the end of this lap? I'm not sure. We will find out. As Luke gets a great run on Camel and is going to think about it up the inside of Degner 1. This is a very risky move. Will it pay off here? And he actually, it's very clean. I thought that was going to end very, very badly. Luke sort of backed out of it and was very, very sensible there. But he's looking very, very racy at the moment. Getting the better grip on the Red Bull driver up the inside as Timo makes a place on the chicane further back. A little bit of contact between these two drivers as well as both Luke and Matt get past him. Is Matt going to try one up the inside of Spoon? Not quite, as Paco actually loses a place. He's trying to go around the outside of the Dom and Vress. Up into P6. Not going to happen for him on that occasion. Luke's desperately trying to get into DRS, but he's run out of battery here. And that could cost him and put him under pressure from Matt here in the Alpine. Is Paco going to try? Oh, he's already side by side with his rival. Round the outside of the Casio triangle. Nicely done. Still gets DRS. Domen will have it as well. But I don't think he's got the traction there. And he's not got the battery either. Luke is back in DRS, but he hasn't got it at the detection point, which means Matt is going to be really quick. Also in the background there, Villiers under pressure. Pressurising Timo Games. Timo also on those medium tyres. Going to have the similar amount of grip to hold on to that P11 position. Lots of action down the bottom of the field here as they're trying to charge their way to the front runners on older tyres. Particularly this man, Oscar McCracken in P5. He's got 10 lap old hards. Currently putting pressure on Arjan. But look who's queuing up behind him now. It's Paco. Followed by Domen, then Luke. Paco with a bit of over-revving there out the corner. It looks like Oscar's going to turn defence into attack here. The best way to defend from the faster drivers behind is to get past the Red Bull in the sister team in front of Arjan Bilbas, I think it is. Yeah, it is. Into the slipstream, already gaining a lot of time here as they're both in medium. Deployment. Is he going to think of how to move now? He's got the DRS through the detection point. Brakes nice and early to set up the move into turn 1. That was weird. The car sort of teleported ahead of him. And actually, Arjan's got a really, really good exit out of that final corner. And is that opportunity missed for Oscar to get past? And Paco's lurking. Paco is ready. Oscar's going to try it though. Not quite close enough as we see further moves in the back, and Luke spun it again. He's had contact with Domen and he's going to lose more places. He lost the place to Timo. He's lost the place to Camel down to P11 as they were doing some synchronised sliding in turn 1. But yeah, Luke making mistakes, trying to rescue the championship points of today. Still 5 laps to go to make a difference, but that is going to cost him. He's down to P11 now, and he's got fast drivers around him too. As you see a puff of dust off the curve as the car's skidding across the ground. Timo's going to set up a move on Matt around the outside. Nice and late braking, but I don't think he's going to have the traction. And he might even get boxed in here by the Haas. What does the Haas want to do? He is going to box him in. Is there going to be room for these guys 3 wide potentially? As Matt and Timo are still side by side heading into Spoon Curve here. Matt on the inside is going to hold on to this position, as we also see on the other side of Spoon Curve Paco and Oscar going side by side, and these guys are going to carry it on maybe into 130R, but no, Paco is ahead and through on the better tyres. Matt's got fast on Domen here as well. Domen might try and fight it back. Let's go back on board with Paco because he's going to set up Arjan as we see Luke making a position down the timing tower. Lots of cars in the Casio triangle, lots of cars making moves everywhere. Paco next on Arjan up into P4. So what I said on that opening couple of laps when he was down in the wall, struggling, as we see Timo up the inside of multiple drivers, Villiers up the inside of multiple drivers, but running deep, and now going to be under pressure from the Red Bull, who's trying to go around the outside. Lots of words need to be said to cover what's going on now. This is very different from what it was 10-15 laps ago, as Luke looks like he's trying to set up a move on Matt, but it's actually Matt on Domen in the Haas. You can't go side by side here. Surely not, as Domen runs wide, but keeps it out of the gravel and keeps it out of that awful straddling curb on the exit of the Degners. Matt trying to move up the inside, forcing his rival to go deep perhaps, but not quite. Very well controlled braking from Domen, who's now forcing Matt to be under pressure from Luke. Into Spoon Curve we go again. All of these drivers within half a second of each other. Which one of them is going to come out on top for this P9 position at the moment? Luke going to go on the inside of 130R, is he? Are they going to be side by side into 130R? They absolutely are. Could it be a double move for Luke? Are they going to be 3 wide into the triangle? Surely not. Luke trying around the outside of the Casio triangle. What's Matt going to think of this? He's going to try and switch it back on both of them as Paco sets the fastest lap of the race and is chasing after Alyosha for a podium position. Luke is chasing after Domen for P8 here. And he's worked that really well. Matt's going to get up the inside as well as Domin loses 2 places in the space of about, you know, 2 corners. Not even 2 corners, 1 corner. Side by side for Quill and Randinho back here. As Camel's trying to hold it through the entire S section here. But Quill's got the superior grip around the outside there. And the debut driver could be condemned to last place here at the moment. As Nathan Powers on the fresh medium tyres is all over the back of him. Through Dunlop. The game still thinks we have a yellow flag out. We do not, game. That was gone many, many, many laps ago. 3 laps to go after this one. Yerne is pulling away out in front. And also Mitchell did get a time penalty while we were watching all that battling down the field. So that is ultimately going to cost him P2. But he should be able to hold on to the podium for now. Paco's also got a time penalty of 3 seconds. But right now, that isn't going to make a difference. He's still going to be finishing in P4, I believe. Unless Oscar can hold it to within 3 seconds of Paco. We will see about that. Anyway, does Alyosha fancy a go at Mitchell for P2 here? He's already got it on the penalties, but he's surely going to get it now. The straight line speed of the McLaren really fast with DRS and overtake engaged. Nice and easy up the inside of the Haas driver, who's drove a very decent race out in front. Consistently fast pace, but ultimately not fast enough to challenge for the win here. Oh my gosh, have you just seen the drop in viewers because the Super Cup has begun? I can't believe people care about the Super Cup that much. Who cares? You're just going to see PSG slap Tottenham about, maybe, who knows. To be fair, I might go watch it after this. As Matthew Bailey gets a 3-second time penalty, and that is going to cost him a lot of positions. 2 positions at least, maybe even 3, down to P12. May even lose a position to his teammate here. Can I show pens? I already did. If you were watching carefully, I did for about 5 seconds. But yes, there are the pens. Oh, when did Matt get a 10 seconds? I must have missed that. So, yeah, maybe he can get that removed. But if it's a speeding pen, he definitely can't. We'll check after the race on that one. That's okay. It's okay. He did get it for speeding. Oh, Matt. That's going to be P last for you then, unfortunately. As Quill is trying to move on Domin, who's actually really fallen through the field here since the safety car restart. Just those tyres not holding on for him. Now Quill is going to take that P11 for him, but Quill's not going to be very happy with this race himself. Also P3 in the championship, losing ground to Yerne, who was behind him before today, and is probably now ahead of him, to be honest. I don't know. I can't remember the exact order, or the exact points, rather. Penultimate lap here, and it seems the gaps are starting to appear in the field after what was a frenzy of action for about 5 or 6 laps. Timo might fancy an extra place here. Certainly on penalties, he's looking good for a P5. Yeah, maybe a P5, P6, P5. I'm not sure how many places he's going to gain here, because Mitch is a bit up the road. But he will be gaining on Arjan, so maybe he can get Oscar on track. Don't think he's going to have the battery to do so, and he's not going to get DRS for his final run as Paco gets another 3-second time penalty. That's 6 seconds. That's a costly error for a championship contender. He's going to try and move on Alyosha anyway, round the outside into turn 1. Nicely done. Swoops around the outside, keeps it on the track, and Alyosha tries to stick with it, but this time does not tag the left rear of his rival. And does not send them into a spin, as Villiers and Matt are going side by side here. Matt with, of course, those 13 seconds of pens, not going to help him score any points, but they just want to have some fun racing down at the back. Speaking of the back, will it be an Aston Martin at the back? With that sort of understeer, yes it will. Not been a good week for Aston Martin, I don't think. As we try and climb off the bottom of the table. Speaking of, they're not going to finish last. Domin has spun it under the bridge and has retired on track as a result. He will not be getting any points today. So Nathan's still finishing last on track, I suppose. But anyway, enough about last. Let's talk about first. Because into the final sector we go with a McLaren once more. Yerne is going to come around the final couple of corners to win pretty comfortably in the end here in Japan and really announce himself as a championship contender in this race. He didn't participate in the first few races, but now with some poor results for his rivals, he is right up there. Alyosha finishes P2 to make it a McLaren on 2. Oscar McCracken gets on the podium on penalties, apparently. Just finishing ahead of Timo on track. And Paco just missing out on P4. Is slightly behind his teammate in 5th. Only 600ths between those guys. I can't remember the rest. So we'll get to that when the results pop up on screen. Not a bad race today, to be fair. Not a bad race. Nothing like last week. That was a very good race last week, but it could have been a lot worse. Oscar's got on the podium, which is very, very impressive for him. Yeah, here we go. Let's go through the full race result then. McLaren 1-2, Yerne Dovzhan in 1st, followed by Alyosha. Then we have Oscar McCracken in 3rd, Timo van Haften 4th, Paco in 5th, Mitja Merckx in 6th, Arjan Bilbas 7th, Luke Mills, followed by Quil Pavlikovic in 9th. Vilius Lastauskas in 10th. Then debut driver Camel in 11th. Or Randino. Nathan Powers gets a point in 12th. A point for Aston Martin. What a fantastic result that is. As Matthew Bailey finishes in 13th. Dom and Vress crashed out on the final lap and finishes 14th. Tyler is 15th. And Cohen did not finish in 16th. Here is your race director. Let's not forget that. In case anyone wants to get rid of a time penalty, maybe Paco will be able to get rid of that time penalty at the end. But yeah, there we go. There we go, everybody. Let's see if anybody wants to have a chat in the interview room. And we'll be back with those very, very shortly. Alright, for now we are here with your temporarily 3rd driver, Oscar McCracken, who, again, has gone under the radar and just popped up into P3 right at the end on penalties. Paco says his penalty is going to be removed, so it may end up being P4, but still a very competitive race for you. You're having a wonderful season. How was it from the cockpit?
My lap 1 was interesting,
oh,
so
yes.
I'll see how that goes, but I was side by side with Timo, and I left my nose in, and maybe turned across it, or maybe I should have backed out, but we'll see. And I had wing damage for the first 8 laps, but my pace wasn't too bad. And I saw Luke spun and got damage, so I pit with him because I wanted to just hopefully stay in his DRS the whole rest of the race, and we just both changed our wings at the same time. Oh, that didn't work, but yeah.
Hello
and
there.
then Timo, and then safety car, and I just stayed out because my tyres were on like 15%. But yeah.
Yeah, interesting strategy to pit with Luke and let him pull you along.
Yeah.
thought, I think that was pretty smart. Obviously the safety car helped you guys out, and there was a lot of frantic racing down the back, but I think you sort of held it steady up at the front there, and in the end picked off some penalties from other drivers. Any major mishaps? We saw a lot of people.
Well, I mean, if you
Techno
look at Timo is kind of showing the incident.
Oh well, we're not watching that. That doesn't go on the live stream.
No.
Let's talk to Timo. I don't know why he's jumped into the interview room. He just wants to be. He wants to be spoken. Everyone wants to be spoken to. Quill's jumped in. The guy finished 9th. What do you do? Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Oh.
Timo, you were spun round by Oscar allegedly. What do you think about that?
Maybe he should have backed out. Well, I know for sure he should have.
Oof, strong words.
But yeah.
But you might not report him because you both finished 4th and 5th. You know, it could just be a nice gentleman's
But I
agreement.
can get one place.
Ah, yes.
Gain a position.
My
you can
race was.
report me.
I could have won last time around. So.
You started last. Oh wait, last week. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for that. You're not in the interviews. Paco is. You think you're going to get your penalty removed? So what happened with the penalty? And obviously, yeah, talk about the penalty first, and then we'll talk about your incident early on in the race.
Well, they are basically the same thing.
Ah,
I
okay.
completely smacked into the wall and got like
I
2
know.
warnings, I think. And I went skateboarding a few times more and then went off into the gravel and got another warning, so I'm pretty sure it will get removed. But I don't think both 3 seconds, probably one of those. So I should have P3, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't realise you got a
Nice
double
comeback.
warning for that. Yeah, it definitely was a nice comeback. That safety car must have been. You must have been very happy to see that come out, so you could have a chance to fight. And then you made some punchy moves to get through the field and up onto the podium eventually.
Yeah, true. Well, it was. I think I was still on for maybe P5, P6 if you didn't get a safety car. I'm not sure if I could have made it on the hards, but it doesn't really matter. I think I had the pace for to win, but I fucked up, so fully on my own.
Fair enough. We saw a lot of championship contenders make mistakes today. Luke had a couple of spins.
God.
Yone went on the wrong tyres, got away with it. And then you also hit the wall. But lots of people hit the wall, so it's fine. Are you still fighting for this championship? Are you confident you can win? 5 races to go? I think 4 races to go. 5 races to go.
Yeah, I think I should be able to win it, but I'm trying to go offline, so without the line. So my pace should be worse than this in coming races. And it's already pretty bad, I think, so we will see. Maybe if Yone wins everything, I don't know if he can still win it if I just get second. Probably not, but we will see.
Who knows? We will see. Anyway, thank you for the interviews. That is it for today for Japan. Next week is the mystery race, which could throw some even more drama into the works because I have no idea what track it's going to be, and we don't know until, well, the live stream. I get to spin a wheel on stream. That's very exciting. So until then, see you later, everybody.